Mr. Speaker and members, if I had to title this amendment, it would be called Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is. Because what this amendment does, well, let me start with what the bill does. The bill says they're going to give all these kids $10,500, essentially. Now, that's one size fits all. And usually I can tell you around here, when we've had one size fits all, it means it fits nobody. And essentially what this does is says that they recognize, or at least acknowledge, that there are some children who are in a 12-foot hole. And so what we do with this bill is we offer them a 10-foot rope. And so what my amendment does is simply says that, wait a minute. And I crafted the amendment so it spends exactly the same amount of money that's in the bill for this, $1 billion. Well, let me tell you how I do it versus how this bill does it. If you are 200% or below poverty, what my amendment does is says we will pay the full tuition of the private school, up to $30,000. Now, if you really think that children ought to be given an option to go to private schools, I can't think of a better way to do it than increase the money that's in this bill, because we all know that $10,500 is not going to get him there. But $30,000 might. And then what it does is it says that, okay, what we'll do is for children who are from families that are only 300% of the poverty guidelines, we will pay $10,000. If the child is above, if the family is above 300% of poverty, we pay $7,500. And if you happen to be at least above the poverty percent by 400, we pay $5,000. And the amendment also says that if you are 500% above the poverty guidelines, we pay nothing. We pay absolutely nothing because you can afford to do that yourself. Now, what we found out in committee is that the way the bill is drafted, 172,500 children are going to take advantage of this who are already going to private school. And so what my amendment does is says, wait a minute, if we really want to do this, if we really want to help children who need the help, let's do it so that their income levels determine their eligibility. And that's really what my amendment does, rather than do it the way the bill does it, because the bill says that we're going to give everybody $10,500, and we try to do it based on some income levels. But that's not enough to get you to a private school. And I think all of us in here recognize that. And so what I try to do is make this whole idea about about private schools and ESAs work. Because typically what's going to happen is we're going to pass this bill with the way this is currently drafted, and nothing will happen except 172,500 children who are going to private schools now will get $10,500. And I don't think that's what the author intends, and I know that's not what this legislature would intend, because when we want to do ESAs, you want it to work. You want to make sure that the children that is targeted are going to benefit by virtue of the ESA. And an ESA for $10,500 is simply inadequate to help the children we say we're trying to help. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Frank, for what purpose?
Does the gentleman yield?
Does
Yes.
the gentleman yield for questions? The gentleman yields.
So if I understand your amendment, you would pay for a lower income person up to $30,000 for a private education. Is that right?
Correct. If you're 200% or less of poverty guidelines.
Okay. And you said the current amount wouldn't handle private schools. I'm not sure what private schools that you're looking at, but the average private school in the state of Texas, do you know what the average private school in the state of Texas cost? It's $9,700. $9,700 is the average private school. Not everybody, and I know a lot of people in here sent their kids to private schools, and I know they go for a lot more than that. I know you can find
So your argument is let them all go to average private schools.
No, I mean, I think,
Well,
then there are some outstanding private schools that do it for $9,700.
You're arguing with me about average prices for charter schools,
Yep.
and not the fact that you want every child to go to a charter school.
I want every child to be able to go to the best school that they can, that their parents think, but to pretend that you have to pay $30,000, I don't think you have to pay.
That's
I
not
don't
what
even think it's fair to pay $30,000.
Let me correct you. This bill doesn't automatically say you get $30,000.
Right.
This bill says you get up to $30,000.
Right. No,
depending on
I'm
what
aware
the
of that.
private school costs. Because some of the children might not want to go to average private schools.
Right. But I think, but the pretending that we can't somehow give people options at the dollar amount that we have, we truly can, and I think we can give them great options. So appreciate it.
I'm not sure I agree with that. As I said before, what you were doing and professing is to give these children a 10-foot rope and they're in a 12-foot hole. And so how do you expect them to get out of it?
Thank you.